This is question 9, and we read the task as always. To start, the author most likely uses the phrase article of faith, third sentence of the final paragraph, to mean that descriptivist blank. So this is asking, why does the author use the phrase article of faith? So we're going to have to scroll on down, find that phrase, and it is in the final paragraph. And we're going to assume that we need to have the surrounding context. And when we're talking about this, we just have to say, what must the descriptivist be described as because of this use of the term article of faith? So we want to read at least a sentence above and a sentence below to get proper context. And we know that the descriptivists may respond that in the latter cases, the usages favored by prescriptivists were in accordance with the laws governing linguistic change and would have prevailed without their assistance. But this is in large measure an article of faith, meaning there isn't evidence. It's just something that they say. And then in the end, it must be acknowledged that the laws governing the transformation of language are not like the laws of physics, meaning that the laws of language can change. The laws of physics are the laws of physics, and they are immutable or unchangeable. So in our mind, we want to have a broad prediction of like this article of faith statement is indicating that the descriptivists lack evidence for their claim in the prior sentence. So we're going to have that in mind as we go through the answer choices with our highlight tool still selected so we can identify and mark reasons to eliminate as we go, or say that something matches this idea that article of faith is just there to articulate from the author's perspective that the descriptivists don't necessarily have evidence of their claim. So choice A, demonstrate a greater measure of intellectual commitment than prescriptivists do. Well, no, it's really, if anything, the author seems to think that the prescriptivists have a more strict intellectual commitment to the rules of grammar, so we'll eliminate choice A as being a reversal. Next, choice B, rely on theory rather than observation in describing language usage. Well, observation would be the lack of evidence. So, theory rather than observation, I will admit you might not be able to pick B immediately, but at the very least, we're going to hold it open. Next, choice C, hold to their views on language despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, there's not overwhelming evidence to the contrary. That's extreme, so we can eliminate choice C for that reason. Then choice D, have no proof to bolster their claim that prescriptivist efforts have no effect on the evolution of language. So again, we've got no proof to bolster, and so this too could end up being our correct answer. So we'll hold B and D at this point. Next, choice E, have based their claims on empirical evidence that other researchers have discredited. Absolutely not. It's not other researchers that are presented, so we can eliminate E. And when you're down to 2, you want to make sure that you're focusing on reasons to eliminate rather than select. So we know that we want to focus on this idea that there's no evidence basically provided by the descriptivists when they say that the usages favored by prescriptivists were in accordance with the laws governing linguistic change and would have prevailed without their assistance. So it's basically saying that without any additional work by the prescriptivists, you would have had the same outcome. So that more matches choice D. But if we're looking at choice B, in describing language usage, well, that's the issue for choice B. They're not describing language usage. They're describing the linguistic change. So we can eliminate choice B for that reason and select the correct answer of D.